Moon just turned into an absolute baddie, while the Academy is just under attack by some nasty cultists, and our fan-favorite Celicia is busy fighting with a top dog of the cult. But where is the original hero? Ariel is actually become obsessed with this new Moon, and somehow, Moon actually manages to escape. However, the second he thinks he's safe, every cultist suddenly turned on him. Moon's basically stuck there, and just waiting for a miracle. And then, out of nowhere, a figure tosses a red potion. The glass shatters, and the hallway just disappears. The whole structure starts coming down under the heat, and Moon is caught right in the middle of it, until someone grabs her midair. It's Anna. She catches Moon midair with that same calm smile. Meanwhile, Ariel is standing there. Her face drops the second she sees them together. She asks who Anna is, but Anna doesn't look bothered. She just steps forward, still holding Moon, and goes, "Hello, Ariel. I'll be taking her to safety." And before Ariel can even react, she jumps. Moon's holding on for his life while they're falling, but falling with Anna is still better than staying up there. But then, something feels off. Moon freezes. "Senior, careful. It's an ambush." Out of nowhere, this meathead locked onto Anna and Moon. Then, boom! That thing rips through the air for a total kill shot. Honestly, that should have been curtains. But she twists, pulls Moon into her chest, and just takes it. That impact is heavy enough to send them both slamming into the building. Then, that low groan. It's Anna. She's still holding him tight. Moon asks if she's okay, and she hits him with the classic, "I'm fine." But he's not buying it. He's looking at her arm, and he sees them. Black scales, definitely not human. But before he can even blink, she covers the sleeve with a piece of cloth. She plays it off as a scratch, and even shakes her arm to prove it. Nice try, but nobody's convinced. Still, Moon lets it go. Some secrets aren't worth the headache right now. Then, out of nowhere, she's back to being the mischievous senior. She slips him a glowing purple potion and tells him it'll change him back. But there's a catch. You need to take your clothes off first, otherwise, something very bad might happen. And just like that, she's gone, leaving Moon standing there in a literal war zone, holding a bottle and wondering if he's being trolled. But the real mess is back at the Potions Club. The second she's alone, the mask drops. Anna just threw herself onto the sofa. Those scales are spreading. It's not even the pain. It's the disgust on her face. This, again, the room's a total wreck. And that smell, rust and blood. Yeah, something's off. And it looks like the god of love isn't letting this one go. So yeah, this was a bad call. But standing around isn't helping. He's just staring at that glowing purple potion Anna gave him and thinking about her advice. Take your clothes off first, or else. Yeah, that doesn't sound right. So he just stands there for a second, staring at it. And then he goes for it. Because honestly, being embarrassed is still better than exploding. He downs the whole thing in one go. For a second, nothing. Then his whole body just lights up. And yeah, those minutes drag, but eventually, it's over. He's back. He exhales. Huge relief, mostly because he can finally retire that other identity before someone sees him. So now, clothes. He heads for someone's wardrobe to borrow something. He'll probably pay them back later. But the second he opens the door, he realized this might have been a terrible idea. Because he just gets buried. It's a total mess of fabric. He digs himself out and just freezes. A whole pile of stolen underwear. This isn't a shop. It's that dorm pervert stash Celicia warned him about. Between the cultists and this, yeah, things just keep getting worse. He grabs a black training suit that actually fits. even scores a pair of swords. Nice. But the whole place is under attack, and still no teachers. It's like they're just sitting back, watching. He's about to stir things up a bit, until the door clicks. It's Ren. And yeah, that look isn't good. His eyes move from the mess on the floor, back to Moon. This is my room. Moon tries to play it off. He even offers to pay him 10 times over to forget the whole thing. Ren doesn't even blink. Then it hits. Those robes. Same as the cultists outside. Yeah, that explains a lot. Ren doesn't waste time. He goes straight for his weapon, talking about blasphemy and returning to the god of love. Yeah, negotiation failed. Moon moves first, fast enough to catch him off guard. He slams a kick straight into Ren's jaw. Before Ren even sets his feet, he's already flying through a wall. The impact's massive, but honestly, the trash talk is what actually hurts. Moon just stands there in the dust, completely cold, roasting him for that collection. Ren tries to pull that "you wouldn't understand" card. But then, it gets weird. Really weird. He starts rambling about how true love only exists between men. Bro, we're on the 61st chapter of a Yuri novel. Muen's face just goes flat. Yeah, the teasing's over. He drops into stance, activates Shadow Step, and vanishes. Sparks exploded between them. Ren is barely, and I mean barely, blocking these shots. He's starting to slip. Moon is just relentless, striking from every angle. It's like the shadows themselves are doing the work. The strength is there, but not the control. And in a room this small, control wins. But Ren finally stops holding back and swings. And yeah, this one actually lands. Moon gets sent flying, and before he even hits the ground, Ren's already on him, bringing the blade down again. But when it hits, nothing's there. Ren pauses for a second, and that's all Moon needs. He's already back in, hand glowing with that weird blue-black flames. But Ren grabs his wrist this time, locks it in place, and you can tell he actually thinks he's got him. But Moon just looks at him and goes, "Who said anything about fire magic?" And then everything just flashes white. Ren loses his grip, and by the time he can see again, yeah, his arm's already on the floor. Moon just exhales, barely reacting. For a second, it feels like that might have ended it. But then the blood on the ground starts moving, slowly at first. Then all of it pulls back into his body, and the wound just closes, like nothing happened. Ren basically turns into a blood-covered monster and completely loses his mind. Moon doesn't even wait for him to finish the transformation. He just blurts forward and punches the guy straight off the rooftop. For a second, it actually feels like that might have done it. But then the air shifts, and when he turns, Ren's already back, completely healed. That's when it clicks. This isn't going to be simple. Moon barely gets his weapon up, but it doesn't even hold. The impact just sends him straight into the wall behind him. Everything stays like this for a bit while the dust settles. Then Moon finally pushes himself out of the debris. He's bleeding, and that's when it hits him. He's dealing with a regeneration type. Ren is just stalking forward now, totally mindless and steaming like an engine. Moon glances toward the corridor and realizes he can't let this get outside. He steadies his breathing and waits for Ren to charge. And when Ren comes in again, Moon just gives a small smile, like, "All right, let's see how this goes." Moon lets Ren get as close as possible, and right when Ren thinks he's got it, that's when it hits. He just nuked him with third-order lightning. The whole place flashes white, and it lands straight in Ren's chest, and you can actually hear something snap inside the guy. It works, but yeah, that takes a lot out of Moon too. So he's just standing there shaking, probably lucky he didn't fry himself. But when the dust clears, Ren is finally back to his normal self, just lying there barely breathing. For a second, Moon actually thinks it's done, so he turns to leave. But again, he hears his name, He looks totally over it for a second, probably expecting another boss phase or something, but when he looks back, something's different. Ren's not raging anymore. He starts talking, trying to explain how he got dragged into all this, how it went wrong. Moon listens for maybe 2 seconds before just cutting him off. He's really not interested in the drama at all. When Ren asks to just be finished off, Moon doesn't even hesitate and just starts walking away. He tells him that if he was still a monster, he'd kill him, but he doesn't deal with people who've come back to their senses. And then he adds one more thing. Dying is the easy way out. If he actually regrets it, he needs to stay alive and deal with it himself. With that, Moon just disappears into the hallway. Deep under St. Maria Academy, there's a whole hidden city down there. And this man? He just stops and starts staring at everything like he's on a field trip or something. The guy with the black robe immediately shuts him up because this isn't the kind of place where you talk freely. But the man doesn't get it. He's asking about their teammates distracting the princess and professors, and you can just tell the masked man is starting to regret bringing him along. He tells him to stop talking, and somehow it gets worse. Because the man asks, "What are they even doing here?" That's when the masked guy just grabs him, like, "Are you serious right now? You came all the way here, and you don't even know the plan." Turns out, he's just following orders. That's it. The masked man just gives up at this point and tells him to shut up and follow him to this massive ancient gate at the bottom level. But then Pink Bear just strolls out of the dark, smoking a cigar. He starts talking like they just broke into his house. And the masked guy? Yeah, he's not steady anymore. Out of nowhere, Pink Bear pulls out this huge, spiked mace. Then he casually drops it. He's the acting dean. And the second he says that, the whole vibe just tanks like an invisible mountain dropped on the room. He says he only needs one captive, so yeah, one of them isn't making it out. The masked guy already looks like he's thinking about dipping, but before he can even try anything, out of nowhere, the white-haired man just stabs him in the back. Even Pink Bear is just standing there confused, especially when the man immediately flips and starts acting all polite to see if he can switch sides. He even starts hacking at the corpse to prove his loyalty, but Pink Bear has to tell him to stop because he's making a mess. It turns out the man isn't even affected by the cult's corruption. So when he asks why, the answer is he joined for true love. Then he pulls out a picture, Moon Campbell. Everything stays like this for a bit while they process how stupid the situation is, but then the dead guy starts moving again. Pink Bear doesn't waste time and just deletes the man's head in one shot. But it's already too late. That blue-black fire leaks out of the lantern, and the whole place just feels wrong. Outside, the sky suddenly shifts into this deep red, and at this point, the students are already going all out. Fire, lightning, everything they've got. But it's not doing much. Because what they're fighting now, that used to be the High Priest. They actually managed to blow it apart for a second, but then the chunks just start crawling back together. And yeah, that's the moment you realize this isn't something you can just overwhelm. Ariel is actually stuck inside that thing for a bit, but then she literally bursts out with these fire wings and drops a massive strike that burns half the monster away. It looks cool at all, but it's totally useless because the thing just heals faster than she can burn it. The monster starts getting really aggressive with these tentacles, and she's pulling off some crazy mid-air dodges, even though her ring is basically screaming at her to fall back. But she's way too stubborn to move. A few seconds pass while she's holding her ground. Then she gets caught in a trap and just gets slammed into a wall like a cannonball. It's a brutal hit, and she's barely holding it together while the monster closes in with these spinning drill things to finish her off. So it's looking like game over. But then the smoke clears, and she's just gone, and the wall is empty. Moon just stepped in, pulls Ariel out of the line, and drapes his coat over her. She barely even recognizes him at first, but when he speaks, that's when it hits. because the one guy she used to completely write off is suddenly the only reason she's still alive. Back on the battlefield, the monster is still acting like it's invincible and calling everyone insects, but Moon isn't interested in some big dramatic speech or anything. He's already behind it, going straight for that core in its head, because at this point, you already know that's what's been keeping it alive. So he hits it. And this time, the reaction is completely different. It's not just damage anymore, it actually starts breaking down. And within a second, the whole thing just collapses. And for a moment, nobody moves, because no one was expecting it to end like that. Even Vire just stands there trying to process what she just saw. But Moon doesn't stay for any of that. He just moves straight to her, tells her where Ariel is, and gets Lee moving before anyone can even ask questions. Even the teachers are starting to realize this kid is way more than they bargained for. But the celebration doesn't last long. The scattered meat starts crawling back together. And yeah, this doesn't feel like it's over. Moon hears it and immediately takes a step back, because at this point, he's not even trying to play hero anymore. If there's another phase to this, he's not sticking around to find out. Wire tries to hold it together, orders everyone to keep dumping every spell they have into the book, but it was already too late, because this pale, bloody hand reaches out from the book and just catches all their spells mid-air, crushing them into this tiny red orb like it's nothing. And at that point, nobody really knows what to say. But then Celicia finally shows up and takes over the situation, and you can tell the vibe changes immediately. She's super calm while ordering a full evacuation to the bunkers, since this isn't a student-level problem anymore. But then she spots Moon, strolling around picking up broken weapons and testing their weight like he's at a garage sale. Celicia calls him out for ignoring the retreat order, and he just throws it right back at her like, "Well, you're still here too." She tries to argue it's different, starts bringing up duty and responsibility, but he doesn't even let that go far. He just points out that if he runs with everyone else, he's literally dragging the danger straight to them. She doesn't answer right away. Instead, she asks if no one ever taught him not to throw his life away. Moon just smiles at that and tells her he can't leave while she's still standing there. Plus, he mentions his father wouldn't have run either, and it actually works on her, because she gives him this tiny smile and tells him to just stay alive so she doesn't have to deal with the annoying paperwork. While they're having this moment, the professors are freaking out because the students won't make it out in time, so Professor Prawn just casually volunteers to head down there. But then he pulls out this pink wand with a star on it, and it looks like a total joke, except it's not, because he's actually the school's top fighter. He drops straight in front of the grimoire and starts layering up these massive magic circles. But then things just get weird, because white feathers start falling and thousands of voices begin crying at once. Moon's barely holding his ground and looks confused, like, why the monster suddenly has boss music? But Pran is looking totally pale because he realizes he's sensing holy power coming from the book. Then, this figure in pure white just steps out of the grimoire with a star crown and these glowing wings. And yeah, you can tell Celicia is genuinely terrified. She realizes they're looking at a coronation rank, a crowned one. And it's not even a fight anymore. Moon looks at that glowing figure and actually asks if she's even that strong, which is honestly the worst thing he could have said right there, because Celicia just looks at him like she can't believe he doesn't know what a crowned is. She has to explain on the fly that these people have basically surpassed human limits and can change the fate of an entire region just by existing. And then she drops the real bomb, that Moon's own father was actually on that same level. So yeah, that hits him, because now he's looking at this thing and realizing it's basically in the same league as his dad, which is not a great situation to be in. But before he can even process that, her eyes snap open with this weird crimson glow. Then she raises her hand, and everything just gets heavy, like the air itself is pressing down, and the academy starts shaking so hard that even Moon realizes this is way out of his range. Until Professor Pran finally steps up and uses his pink wand to trigger these 12 massive metal towers that shoot out of the ground to anchor the school back down. It stabilizes things, but only for a moment, so Celicia doesn't waste time. She just tells Moon to move, and they start pushing through the debris, trying to get out of there. But then this voice literally echoes through their heads, calling out Moon's name. And before he can even react, he gets hit by something invisible and launched backward through a stone wall. That pure maiden is just floating there with this blank expression, not even looking at anyone properly. She raises a finger and forms this small red sphere. Then she just says one word, "Die," and she fires it. But Pran reacts instantly, like way faster than you'd expect. He steps in and kicks it off course before it hits them, which is kind of insane for someone his age. The maiden tilts her head a little, but he's already moving. He signals for a magic circle to wrap around Moon and Celicia and launches them out of the crossfire. Once they're clear, his tone changes completely. He calls her Barina and says she was supposed to be happy, but then this mocking voice comes out of her mouth, asking if he means this body. Pran snaps because it turns out she was actually his student, and this is where it gets tragic. You can literally see tears falling, but she's not reacting at all. That's when it hits him. They didn't just brainwash her, they literally erased her soul so she couldn't fight back. So Pran just raises his wand and tells her that her teacher will save her. She just swings that sword, and the academy walls just get shredded like they were made of paper. Pran has to step in immediately to take the impact himself before it spreads any further. The shockwave alone turns the whole place into debris, and after that, it's basically just him trying to hold the line. He keeps putting up shields, they keep breaking, and she's not slowing down at all. But here's the thing, the entire time she's trying to kill her teacher, she's actually crying. He starts seeing flashes of the girl he raised, like when she asked him to stand as her father at her wedding, which is just brutal to think about right now. But he has to snap out of it because she's literally trying to take his head off. And that's when his grief finally turns into this pure, burning rage where he just lets loose a storm of magic that makes everything we saw earlier look like a light drizzle. This explosion of light basically turns the night into day and shakes the whole academy down to the council room. Grant finally shows up to confirm Moon and Ariel are still alive, but things are still looking pretty grim. Everyone's watching the fight, wondering if Pran can actually go through with it, and Grant doesn't sugarcoat anything. If he slips even once, he's dead. Then he adds something worse. There are two of them, and that's where things really start falling apart, because now the barrier is cracking like a web, and that silent Moon is getting way too close. The elders immediately realize what's happening and start talking about what's buried under the academy, like that was the real target all along. They even start debating if they should wake that one up. The council room just gets quiet, and not in a good way either. Cade lets out this long sigh, like he already knows how bad things are about to get. And the guy at the head of the table doesn't ease it at all. He straight up says they're dealing with two of them, and since one is already down here, they have to prepare for the absolute worst case. Some guy tries to be optimistic and asks about reinforcements from the Empire, but that idea gets shut down immediately. No one's coming, and it's actually wild that everything looks normal outside while the Academy is facing the end of the world in total isolation. So the head guy decides it's time to vote on waking that one, and 17 hands go up, even the old man who thinks the whole thing is just cruel. But here's the thing. The real problem hits, because nobody actually wants to be the guy to go wake her up. And suddenly, all these respected elders start coming up with excuses, bad backs or sore joints, and before anything gets decided, they all just vanish. Now Grant's just standing there in an empty room, and for a second he looks genuinely annoyed, But then something clicks. And yeah, someone else's life is about to get way harder. He heads straight to the infirmary. Moon's barely holding himself together, still recovering, and Grant walks in acting like he risked everything to save him. Moon actually buys it and says he'll repay him. And that's exactly what Grant was waiting for. So now it turns into this small favor. Just waking someone up, his niece. Selling it as this sweet thing, where she just needs a handsome blonde guy to wake her up. And bro, when your professor looks at you that kindly while you're stuck in a hospital bed, you already know you're about to be the sacrificial lamb for whatever monster is sleeping downstairs. I'm calling it now. This niece is going to be way more dangerous than the gods outside.